Deputy Speaker, in the short time available, I'm going to limit myself slightly. I just want to say the opposition's position, I think, is somewhat illogical at the moment. Is this bill perfect? No, by no means it's perfect. Will it get corrected? I hope, as it goes through, certainly. The key thing here is, though, and I accept there are issues around freedom of speech and the right to assemble, and I think this will be dealt with during the course of the debate. But this overall is a good bill, and tonight the Labour Party will be voting against protection of the police, prevention, investigation and prosecution of crimes, sentencing and release, many of which the terms are there are very important, public order and unauthorised encampments, which have bothered a lot of my constituents, youth justice and secure children's homes and academies, and management and rehabilitation of offenders. All of that they will vote against, much of which they agree with. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me. But tonight I want to draw the attention of the House and my right honourable friends to something very important which is not in the bill, and I want to make some progress over. That's to do with the theft, rising theft, including much violence now, of pets and dogs, etc. Now, this is a really big issue. It's not prosaic by any means at all. I give way.
I agree with the honourable member. This is a very big issue for my constituents, and I'm glad he's bringing this up in this debate.
I'm grateful for that. There have been huge reports that over 250% increase in dog theft crimes in a number of counties, Suffolk particularly. The Metropolitan Police, which covers my area, report that they have the highest number of dog thefts in the country. Number of stolen dogs registered in the dog loss websites increased by over 170% since lockdown. And 2020 was the worst ever year for the theft of dogs. This is not some inanimate object. This is an animal, a pet, as the other pets, part of the family, but they also do huge jobs. Who secures the place here that we don't have bombs in this place? That's dogs. Who checks at the customs that people aren't importing drugs and others? Dogs. Dogs are being trained to do COVID now, and they should have been brought into the airports years ago. But the point is that the reality here is that it's a very violent point. This is the big point. Gangs are involved now. The prices of these animals have risen. £5,000, £10,000 a time for a dog. The gangs are very violent. I had constituents be knocked to the ground, beaten, stamped on their hands, threats to them, threats to their home, threats to their families. These are serious, serious offences. And yet, right now, it is almost impossible to get more than a slap on the wrist for this. £250 fine, maybe a £500 fine. Dogs aren't even listed in the Home Office classification. They're in with theft from the person, bicycle theft, shoplifting and other theft. Pet theft currently sits hidden from view under HOC 49 alongside things apparently that don't have a home, like a wheelbarrow. This is wrong, and it diminishes the crime, and it means, therefore, that many people devastated by this, often brutalised, have no recourse. And so I think that the important thing, even with the sentencing side of it, as I said earlier on, it is very poor. So what actually has to happen now is that we need much tougher sentences brought in. We need a categorisation that includes these pets and dogs, which is very, very important. We need police to take this seriously. I had one individual who said that they were asked by a policeman, they had had the dog stolen, did you have anything else of value taken, as though these things weren't of any value. And I also think on vets, microchips have to be brought in by law, and yet no vet has to scan to see whether or not this is a stolen dog. This should change. We should bring that in. Other ideas are ban cash sales, like they did with the scrap metal people, that cuts off those sales, and consider the reintroduction of licences for pet ownership. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is a serious offence, and I would like to look to the government during the course of the passage of this bill to bring forward change that can help these people. Violence and theft of these animals is wrong, and we should do something about it, and do something about it now.
Thank you. Now we go to Debbie Abrams.